In this episode of Film Stock Reviews, I'm reviewing Eternals. Now, Eternals is the 26th movie in the MCU or the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's directed by Chloe Zhao and has an ensemble all-star cast. It came out November 5th, 2021, and it tells the story of 10 superpowered Eternals, and their names are Ajax, Cersei, Icarus, Kingo, Sprite, Phastos, Makari, Druig, Gilgamesh, and Thena. Now, there are a lot of characters to keep track of in this movie, but the main focus is on Cersei, played by Gemma Chan. Now, other than that, Angelina Jolie plays Thena, Richard Madden is Icarus, Kumail Nanjiani is Kingo, Leah McHugh is Sprite, Brian Tyree Henry is Phastos, Lauren Ridloff is Makari, and Barry Cohagen is Druig, and Don Lee is Gilgamesh. And Kit Harington is Dane Whiteman. And it's interesting. Oh, and let me not forget, Salma Hayek is Ajax. Now, people didn't know what Eternals were or what they are. Basically, they are these superpowered beings who are, used in a way by the celestial Arishem. Now, basically, Arishem is their leader in a way, and they use a ship called the Domo. And basically, the understanding for what this movie is that Arishem explains in the middle of this movie that millions of years ago, he planted seeds for celestials inside these planets all over the universe, the Milky Way galaxy, whatever galaxy you call, it's there. He implanted seeds for celestials. Now, basically the celestials are born based on the large population that follows after everything. Now, over the time from 5000 BC, we get flashbacks in this movie of the areas in time and history where the Eternals weren't meant to, intervene in a way. And there is a scene where Dane actually asks Cersei, why didn't you stop Thanos from destroying the world? Basically, Cersei says, we didn't interfere with human things because we're only supposed to do it if they're deviants. Well, the deviants were sent to destroy certain apex predators on different planets, so to speak, and then each planet to ensure the development of that intelligent life to fast track human life, so to speak. Now, as that's happening, the deviants evolved over time and got used to turning into this other beings, so to speak, and they hunted the native populations of those worlds. Now, Arishem created the Eternals to counter them and to counter his mistake. So the celestial being he created, but he also created the deviants, but then he used the Eternals and created the Eternals in order to control the deviants so that these celestials can be born inside these planets. But this didn't happen because of the blip. When Thanos snapped his fingers, it stopped the emergence of these celestials, or this one celestial, on Earth. When everything came back, and Iron Man, of course, brought everyone back, and he died, that one sacrifice, and how Doctor Strange saw 14 million versions of how it's supposed to end, it reversed everything, and now the Celestials decided to do the emergence again. Now, this is a 2-hour and 40-minute movie. It's very interesting because there are characters in this movie that stand out and characters that are backseat. For me, the weakest and the most annoying in a way was the character of Sprite. She really didn't serve a purpose at all, didn't make any sense. Kumail Nanjiani as Kingo was really good, but then he became like this actor who loves social media and the spotlight. Gemma Chan as Cersei was really good. She was more so the level-headed one and understood the assignment and everything. Richard Madden as Icarus was good, but then something happens to his character in the movie which I felt like was a waste, because I feel like the movie just put it in there just to surprise everyone, but also needed the character of Icarus to so forth do like a, be that one person in the group to be the one who walks out on them. Leah McHugh, like I said, as Sprite was not my favorite. Brian Tyree Henry as Phastos is the so-called technological inventor, the advanced one who does everything and does certain things. And over the course of the movie, we get these flashbacks of where they're in certain centuries and certain, areas of time in the world, and how different aspects of, like Barry Cohegan's character of Druig, who is basically, he can manipulate the minds of others, and he wants to stop certain things from happening. He's like, war shouldn't be the answer. I could have controlled everything and like that. Salma Hayek is Ajak, the wise leader of the Eternals. She's not in it for long. I was very surprised. She's not in it for long, but she's sporadic, which was very different than what you're usually used to. Angelina Jolie as Thena. She's the warrior in a way. The badass, but she has this mind memory thing where Gilgamesh is the one who's trying to watch after her. Don Lee was really good as Gilgamesh. He was badass. He's always that badass in a movie, always fighting using his fists. It's great. Who else? Lauren Ridloff, who is the deaf Eternal, has superhuman speed. She's fast, but I felt like she really didn't have aspect or really anything to do in this. And I mean, it's the whole process of understanding what was happening with this movie. The movie was really, really long, 2 hours and 40 minutes, like I said. It could have been, trimmed down a little bit. You could have just hour and a half, maybe 2 hours and 5 minutes. You could have got everything in. The love story aspect between Icarus and Circe was there, but it didn't feel like it because it felt like it dragged the movie down. There were good comedic moments to break the emotional tension with Kumail Nanjiani and other characters in this movie. And the theme aspect was great. We understood why the Eternals didn't stop Thanos from doing certain things. The Celestials are now involved. If you remember Guardians of the Galaxy, the Celestials are in that as well. More so like an Easter egg. The Deviants are in this movie. So it's really interesting. But the screenplay lacked a lot of areas of the dialogue. Like, even though Gemma Chan is a phenomenal actor, I feel like her as Circe felt like she had to accomplish certain things just to understand the rising of her character. The pacing was really slow, the runtime was long, and the character development I felt like was super, super forced. Like I said, I mean, Chloe Zhao did a fantastic job directing it. I'm curious to see if she's going to direct another Marvel movie, so it'll be interesting to see that. If you don't know anything about the Eternals, watch this movie, read the comics. And I didn't see this in theaters. I waited until Disney Plus because I felt like it wasn't a movie to see in theaters. So, I mean, hey, to each his own, but I'm curious to see what happens now. I mean, at the end of it, we see, at the end of the credits or the movie, we see that it says the Eternals will return. There is a mid-credit scene in this where Athena, Makari, and Druig are on the Domo and they meet the Eternal Eros, who is Thanos' brother. So Thanos' brother is now being introduced. Curious to see where that goes. And Pip the Troll. Pip the Troll, if you don't know what Pip the Troll is or Eros is, do your research. And then Dane opens a case. Now, if the character of Dane, who Circe is in love with, opens the case containing the Ebony Blade. If you didn't know what the Ebony Blade is, it's a powerful sword, so to speak, and the Ebony Blade is so much a wielding power that when wielded you become the Black Knight. And off screen we hear a voice, and evidently it's been said that this is the character of Mahershala Ali's Blade. So will we see Black Knight and Blade, or another Eternals 2 movie? A lot of questions need to be answered. It's very curious. I loved the dynamic of like I said, the CGI was good, and I mean, it was different than what you normally would see in a Marvel movie. Marvel went a different route with this, and it was really unexpected because their movies are more so Captain America, Hulk, Thor, Iron Man, Ant-Man, Black Widow, Spider-Man. So now with this, we understood that after the events of Infinity War and Endgame, Thanos is still a threat so many years later because he had an impact on how everything changed. He had an impact on the emergence of the Celestial being born on Earth. But then that gave time for the Eternals to understand what was happening. The Deviants just wanted the Eternals' powers to, stop the Celestials. It's not a confusing movie at all to follow, but it's so long that you could have cut it down. I just had a problem with the runtime. And that was it. Other than that, it was a good movie. And, I'm curious to see what happens next with the Eternals. For me, the Eternals gets 4 out of 5 stars. Let me know in the comment section below what you thought about the Eternals. What did you think about the all-star cast? which character was your favorite character, which one was your least favorite. Do you like the dynamic of how the Celestials were introduced in this Marvel movie? I mean, even though they have been mentioned in previous Marvel movies before this, and Easter eggs have been planted for them, what do you think about the mid-credit scene and the post-credit scene? And when do you think we'll see these characters again? Let me know in the comment section below about the questions I just asked, and I'll see you guys in the next review video.